All right, guys, welcome back to the Good Stuff Podcast, where we try to help you love where you live by talking about the good stuff going on here in the community or real estate-related things. I am a real estate professional, Derek Schwinn, with Keller Williams Consultants Realty here. And today, we're going to talk rugby. I've been talking to these guys for a long time, so it's been a long time coming. So, known this guy for a long time, so I'll let you introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, Marysville. My name is Joshua White. I am the president of the Marysville Rhinos Men's Rugby Club. I am also one of the coaches for the Marysville Wampsters Middle School and High School Rugby Club.
Yes. So how many years has this been going on?
So we started playing rugby back in high school back in 2002. So a lot of us came up that way, high school. A lot of us traveled to Marion and started playing for the Rhinos up in Marion.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went to high school together, so
yeah.
I'm remembering that. Yeah.
Yep. We are Marysville Monarchs.
That's right, and you still are, I guess.
Yep. I am. I've been working for the school district for 12 years.
Yeah, nice.
So,
who was the catalyst then? Like, was it, so back in 2002, what was the catalyst that, because that's when it started?
Yeah, so back in 2002, it was just a group of guys that we weren't necessarily into sports per se. We were all around in the FFA and band. We used to play a lot of backyard football. Mm-hmm. And then one day we had a substitute teacher at the high school. Her name was Elizabeth, talk to us about this sport called rugby that she played for in college. So
and then it went from there.
It sparked our interest.
Huh. Okay. And then you guys took it off from there. I mean, yeah so that's 22 years now?
Yeah.
Or 20
be about 22 years.
Yeah. I was going to say my 20-year anniversary, or anniversary, whatever you call it, from high school was this year, and so you just had yours, right?
I was class of 03.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you just were last year. It's time flies for you youngins out there. Yeah. Nice. So what's been the biggest thing you've enjoyed through the whole process?
So I will tell you what, I love rugby. I've been playing rugby from high school to men's league for 22 years now. I think my favorite thing about rugby is teaching the younger generation what this sport is. I mean, rugby in general is a big family camaraderie. You might go to battle on a pitch. After the game, you're all together. You're having a cookout. You're having a social. It's a big family environment.
Definitely a big family, community type thing. Totally drawing a blank. Where's I going to go with that? Oh, okay. So maybe something to add in there. For those that have no idea what the difference between rugby and football, what's your 30-second pitch that I'm sure you've said 1,000 times?
Rugby is a mixture of football and soccer. So our field is a little bit longer than a football field. We are 110 meters, which is about a little more than 10 feet longer than a football field. We have to pass the ball backwards to advance.
Okay.
Can't go forward. It has to go backwards, and you advance. When we score, we cross what in football you call the end zone. We call it the try zone, and you have to touch the ball inside the try zone on the ground.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. So that definitely helps. So is the scoring anywhere similar?
Yeah, so when we score, it's 5 points. When you kick through the uprights, it's 2 points. If you kick on a conversion kick, a penalty kick, it's 3 points.
Okay, so not just one for one. It's got some strategy in the different plays and stuff. So are there plays just like football?
Oh yeah, we draw up plays. We run different plays like switches and dummy plays with your hands and maneuvers with the ball. It's a lot of similar to football. We don't have pads. We have cleats and a mouthpiece, and we have halves like soccer. So for like men's league, we play 2 40-minute halves that are it's nonstop.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So definitely gets the physical exercise part of it
100%.
in. Yeah. So it's 2 40 minutes, you said?
Yep.
Yeah. So and how many people on a team?
So it depends on what sport you're playing for rugby. You have rugby sevens, which would be 7 on each team. You have rugby 10s, which is 10 on each team. Or you have 15s, which that's what most predominantly plays 15s, and it's 15 per side.
Whew.
Yep.
That's busy.
It's a lot of people, and it's organized chaos.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, and that definitely probably lends itself more to that family atmosphere and that camaraderie and all of that stuff. Okay, so like, what's the pyramid-looking thing that I've seen I don't even know how to explain it.
So, what do you mean the pyramid?
Oh, where you like lock up and push and kind of
the scrum.
Scrum, yeah, I've heard it before.
It's called a scrum. So that is where you have on both sides, you have your front row, which is your prop, your hooker. Yes, it's literally called a hooker because you hook the ball. And you have your other prop. Then behind them are your two second row, a Marysville alum, Charlie Huff. He's one of our second row. So then you add your 8-man and your 2 flankers on the side. They're like the linebackers. They chase the guy with the ball. Okay.
So when does that happen?
So when you go into scrums, you have it on knock-ons. So so if a player, when he's running with the ball, if he drops it and it goes forward, it's a turnover, and we have to scrum.
Okay, so just kind of those kind of rules that when this happens, that's what. Okay, obviously I know very little about rugby.
So it's gotten a lot safer. Scrums, if you look up videos back in the 80s, it was like 2 big rams
just going together. At it.
They have very much in recent decades focused on the safety of the sport. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot more controlled going in.
So not as aggressive and brutal as some of the stuff you've seen. Okay, interesting. So what's I'm always fascinated with the historical side, and then we'll move on to more community-related stuff. Where did it come from, or do you know the backstory of rugby and like?
So rugby started back in 1823, over in Europe, of course. I don't know a whole lot about per se,
but it's back in that time frame.
Yeah, it's been around a very long time.
Yeah, so I assumed it was a precursor to football that it came before it, especially coming from Europe. Huh? Yeah, it's definitely an interesting sport from what I've seen. Yeah, so
it's been a passion of mine. My wife says it's my second wife.
Your second wife?
Yes.
Well, it definitely seems like a healthy one, so that's good.
100%. And I have the pride that I like now is I'm towards the end of my playing career.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 39 years old, so. But I get to coach these young kids of Marysville, which I enjoy because we have so much talent in this district. I mean, our athletes in Marysville, these young kids are extraordinary. You see it in every sport that we play. And now both of my boys are coming up. They've been playing since youth. And so I get the best of both worlds. I play, I coach, and I get to see my kids.
Your kids go through it. So do you have any idea roughly in our community how many people are participating from young to old? Yeah,
so right now, men's wise, we have about 25 to 30 that belong to our men's club. We have a lot of alumni that have retired throughout the years. We are still actively recruiting for anybody 18 years of age or up for the men's team. For our Wampsters team right now, we're sitting between 20 and 25, and that's between the middle school and high school team.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. And you got going this long, it's been had a lot of alumni come through at different seasons.
We have. Back when we were the Wampsters, and you can see it on my sweatshirt, and some of you folks will be like, "What is a Wampster?" So John Wimmers, another alum, Kaylee Brooks, myself. When we got this brainstorm together in 2002, we wanted a name that no other team ever has. So John came up with, he's like, what about the Wampsters? And we kind of puzzledly looked at him like, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, a hamster with a club, Wampster. I love it. Let's run with it.
You can't go wrong with that.
No, you can't. So we used to always have this insignia. This was the original insignia on the 02 shirts when we started. Matt, another Marysville alum, he made our logo for us.
Oh, yeah.
So the actual Wampster holding the club.
I was going to say, that's awesome.
Yes.
It's a pretty good visual.
It's a pretty good visual. We always wanted it. We just never could, because by the time the club took off, we graduated.
Yep.
So then our coach at the time, Steve Sicci, passed away. So then.
Oh, he was a coach. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, did Andrew do it?
Yes.
I feel like I remember him. Yeah. Okay.
Andrew played. Will played.
Uh-huh.
So we got to play with them as Wampsters, and we got to play with Andrew as the Rhino.
Yeah.
Andrew was a Rhino.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, so like I said, you guys, Charles and Daniel, have reached out over the years, and then to watch all the stuff, and as you know, it's definitely from the outside, it's clear that it's not just a sport, that it's a family, it's a community, it's positive. I mean, the amount of effort you guys seem to put into growing this organization and supporting it and being part of the community is quite impressive, and so that's why you're here today.
We want to introduce the community to just, hey, here's another outlet for kids to do. I mean, it's always good for kids to have healthy structure and activities to do. And not only do we like to perform and, brag to other teams, hey, look at Marysville. Yes, we do. But we also, on the glorifying side, we like to teach these young men when they get older how to be good men. And that's the positive values for Wampster Rugby and for the Rhinos. The Marysville Rhinos has supported this youth program from day one, from financially paying for players to play, for sponsoring scholarships, to coming out on their own time and just teaching these young kids what this game is. And I always tell, when kids are recruiting, just tell your friends to come out and check it out. I promise you, when they do, they will fall in love. Because rugby, it just has that knack about itself to where they're curious, and when they see it, they're like, this is awesome.
Yeah. So do you have any stories of kids that you've experienced coming through and just kind of the effect that's had specifically?
So right now we have so when we started, the middle school program took off first. So when we finally got the high school team lifted, we had all freshmen and one senior. And a lot of these rugby teams are like, you guys are young. And I'm like, we're young, but these kids are eager to play.
Yep.
So right now we have 3 seniors. The rest are sophomores and freshmen. So we are a young team. And the biggest thing that we showed success with the kids is these kids all came together. And when I say they came together, it wasn't easy at first. It was all individuals on a field. And they are now starting to learn how to play as a unit.
Yeah.
And we saw the success with the middle school team. The first year they won their Buckeye Division title. This last fall, the Marysville Wampsters, we play 7s in the fall. We went to the state tournament and won the Shield Division. And I say us coaches guide them. It was all our players.
All them, yeah.
Our players did it. They went out and showcased in front of 16 other teams how good Marysville is becoming. And, there were coaches that sent me messages on the side like, mad respect to Marysville. Like, your kids have come a long way.
Yeah.
And that's all we want. We want these kids to have fun and just enjoy themselves. So with our program, we start ahead of the curve. We start 2 months before most programs start training.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when's that?
So January 8th, we start rugby. We started Rugby 101 in conditioning. The kids go out. They just get conditioning in, and we teach them the basic rugby because we're always getting new people. By the time the weather turns in March and we get daylight again, we go out to our home pitch at UCJRD, and then we're able to hit the ground running because they already know most of the fundamentals. So we're able to put in plays.
And get moving, yeah.
And get moving.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
It's a fun time. It's a fun ride to be on.
Yeah. So then here's a nice one to add in. I'm sure there's some people out there thinking, what's the injury rate? You said it's been a safer game in the last handful of years.
So Urban Meyer was a big one. Nate Ebner is a big he played rugby. He played rugby at the Olympic level. He also played football for the New England Patriots. Urban Meyer has come out in his book and said, rugby makes you better tacklers at football. And we teach, that is the big thing with rugby through Rugby Ohio. Everything is the safety of tackling with your head to the side. When you tackle with your head to the side, it dumbs down the concussion rate. It also saves your neck from getting neck injuries because you're not leading with your head. So our injury rate right now is probably the 5th amongst contact sports. It's lower than football.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
You would think no pads, that would be the case.
You would think people, but I think
it probably takes that buffer out of it.
Yes, because people, when you put on pads, people feel invincible.
Yep.
To where you don't, you still have kids, granted that.
Just
you've got
charge.
to teach them, like, hey, don't lead with your shoulder. You can't lead a boomstick. You have to tackle people to the ground.
Yeah.
And it's had a lot of success.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of, like, martial arts.
100%.
That's a lot of that
Yes.
controlled aggression and knowing when to use it and how to
yeah.
use it and all that stuff. Not that I'm an expert in any of that, but heard the
I'm
principles. Yeah. No. There is a I'm not going to be able to say the word jiu-jitsu, right? Jiu-jitsu? Yeah. I don't know. You know what I'm getting at.
Jiu-jitsu.
Whatever the right pronunciation is. Uptown, I've driven by or walked by and seen that, and I've heard good things. And
I've heard too.
I've been thinking about going. So if you've been out there and you know what's going on, let me know.
Be awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely hadn't done that. So what's in the future for rugby? Any updates or any craziness coming up?
We got some things in the works, some exciting things. The men's team, of course, we start March 5th. Out at
Oh,
UCJRD.
yeah, that's right. I thought it was coming up.
Yep, we've already got our spring schedule set. So we are getting ready to start the middle school and high school program. We are going to start about the end of March, beginning of April. They'll start league play and playing. I've also been in talks. I am waiting on a date to be scheduled with our school principal, Kenny Chafin. I'm trying to find out what it would take for us to take the next step and become a club, and we would change our name to the Monarchs.
Nice.
So we've already got a concept of what the jersey would look like.
Yeah.
So we just want to take that next step to be, really a part of the community. And I think, once we change the Lampsters to the Monarchs, a lot of the high school kids then will be like, okay, now we're going to take you serious.
Well, it feels like it is part of it, and
Yes.
it's not like, well, that's that thing off to the side.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it adds another avenue for our high schoolers to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. My brain is not working. Oh, there it is. So for those out there that are thinking about participating, or like it's the old guy like me that feels like he's old but he's not, and he's like, I don't have time to go get hurt.
Yes.
So you've got, I guess, are there tryouts? Maybe that's the first question.
So here's what we tell everybody, and we firmly stand by this motto: rugby is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
No matter your shape, your size, your age. At one point, our oldest guy was 55 years old. There are some teams over in Europe. They have guys that are in their 60s. Still playing. Rugby is for everyone. So we just tell you to come out, check out the practices. The youth and high school team practice Monday, Wednesday. The men's club is on Tuesday, Thursdays.
So what are the biggest hang-ups for people that you've encouraged to come? They haven't come.
Conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go. No big deal.
Anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. It's just, and it gives us something to stay active.
Yeah, and that's valuable, especially you get up there. It's important.
Yeah. I get that. I got the dad bod. My kids remind me of it. Hey, Dad, pat me on the stomach.
There's only so much. Yeah,
love the kids.
They keep you humble. That's for sure. Yeah, because having a lot of these conversations, I feel like there's probably people. I've been the person on the other side thinking, well, this sounds interesting, but
everybody does. I mean, it's quite common. Guys are like, man, I would love to check it out, but I don't want to get injured.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say you'll never get injured. In my lifetime in rugby, 22 years, I've had 5 injuries. So pretty good, knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you come out, we will teach you how to play.
And play safely.
Yeah, you're not going to go out there and the first time you play, you're getting hauled out on the stretcher.
Yeah. And I guess my vision is like, okay, I can learn to do it softly and not
100%.
Be, well, what about that guy over there? Is he gonna take it easy on me? That'd be the hard part.
You just come out and get a run in at practice with us.
Yep.
And that's what we tell. Like, the biggest thing people think about rugby, one, you're going to get hauled out on the stretcher. And two,
and your teeth are dangling.
They go on the internet and they look up biggest hits in rugby. Never do that because they put those videos together and they ship them for a reason. And that's
not reality.
No, it's not reality.
I guess probably the best way to look at it is if you're in the men's, like, what's the average age?
So for the men's team right now, we are in our mid-30s.
Mid-30s. Yeah. Okay, so that's probably the, like, sweet spot of probably guys. If there's any guys out there watching, it's probably in that sweet spot of that age. I guess the thing to keep in mind is you're out there with a bunch of other old men that don't want to get hurt either, so they're probably not pushing too hard.
So they're in the men's league. There is divisions 1 through 4. We're in D4, which is where your beginners go. It's for a lot of players that are getting older.
So it's not super.
Yeah, it's not D1 level.
Yeah,
so it is perfect for what we're trying to establish and build. I mean, we do have hopes one day of moving up to D3, but right now we're happy in D4. I mean, just spreading the word.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, it's incredible to watch the things that have gone on and just to go from a random comment that somebody said 22 years ago, whatever, and it's built all the way to this stuff. Yeah. And, you know, I imagine there's plenty of kids out there that are thankful for the leadership that you older guys have given them. And,
you know, we do it because we want to. We're all volunteer. Our whole staff, from our admin, we're all volunteers.
Oh, I thought this made you rich.
I wish. Man, if there was a money tree, I would shake it.
and pass it out.
And pass it to everyone.
Exactly.
But we do it because we love the sport.
Right.
And we want to grow it. And the only way rugby is going to continue in the U.S. is by our younger generations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially when we get older and we're coaching, we want those younger guys to step up and play.
Mm-hmm. Well, and thankfully, I mean, you guys will have plenty of years left to coach if y'all.
That's the goal. I mean,
being to the point where you're about retiring from the game and move on to the golden.
You say you're getting towards the end, but I mean, what's actually the end?
I was going to say, if there's guys out there in their 60s, you'll probably be going for another 10, 20.
Me and Huff have talked about it, and Huff's like, I'm playing till I can't. So.
Go till you can't. Body at rest. Body in motion stays in motion.
It gives us something to do and we stay active.
Mm-hmm. So what's the schedule like? I mean, is it like every week, every other week,
middle school plays on Saturdays. High school, typically, if we don't schedule games during the week, they play on Sundays. Mm-hmm. The men's league always plays on Saturdays. And you hear that a lot in rugby. You'll hear Saturday's a rugby day. That's because predominantly most matches are on Saturdays.
Gotcha. So how long is the season for anybody that's thinking about?
So our spring season starts March. We go till about the beginning of June. We'll do a couple summer tournaments. Mm-hmm. We'll start back again in August, and we'll play till about November. And that's like for the youth and up to men.
Seems like a good rotation to do it and not have to wait 9 months to get back into it.
Yes, and then the weather hits and it gets cold in Ohio. And we all go indoors.
Mm-hmm. So here's an interesting one. Like, how would you describe the especially the older guys? Like, who is drawn to it?
So we find it's honestly an even mixture. Like a lot of the older guys have played before, so that's how they're still playing. But the younger guys that have come out, and we have some younger guys on our team, we've now started to get the high school team is starting to be a feeder system to the men's club.
Oh, yeah.
We have Dan's son, Chance, who just joined last year after graduating from Marysville. We have 3 seniors graduating this year that have already said they want to play for the Rhinos.
And keep going.
Yeah. So our goal is to get younger. That's like we want to
so you can get that D3 status?
Yeah, we want to get younger.
Yep.
Especially for us old guys.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we keep it going. Take a break.
Yeah, tag us in for 20. I will give you the best 20 minutes ever.
Yeah, so I guess I was curious if there's is it a pretty diverse, like, professionals, blue collar, white collar, old, young?
No, it's pretty diverse. And I mean, what's coming up, we've had a lot of interest from community and surrounding because we're not just players in Marysville. We can get kids from around our area, like Triad, North Union, Delaware.
Okay.
The rule for Rugby Ohio is you play to the closest club if your school that you go to doesn't have one. So, girls rugby is on the uprise.
I was gonna ask. Yeah, I mean, girls wrestling is definitely.
Oh, they're phenomenal. That program is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I can't say enough good things about the girls wrestling team in Marysville.
Yeah, it's definitely surprising how it's taken off for sure. So I was curious if there was a rugby side.
We've had people reach out to us. Unfortunately, with us coaches, all of us are still players. So between playing and the middle school, high school team, we don't have any time.
And a life.
Yeah,
and
so
work.
We are in the process of looking for a coach to spearhead the whole Lady Wampsters program.
Yeah.
So that would be a great thing for someone to be able to step in and just spearhead that whole side. And then if we're lucky enough to become the Monarchs, then, we'd have the girls' side to it.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, well, I mean, future's bright, it sounds like.
The future's bright. We've had a lot of community support. Ramsey's.
Yep.
They're a sponsor for both clubs. For the youth club, juvenile judge Rick Rogers.
Uh-huh.
He is a sponsor of ours. Darren Fry, he sponsors both clubs. We've had, my mind just went blank as well.
Well, mine's already done it twice, so.
Yep. Fiesta Grande.
Oh, yeah.
They've sponsored
Yep.
the youth club. So Tubby's Pizza, they sponsored the men's club.
Mm-hmm.
So we have gotten like a ton of community sponsorships. The Gates family, we've had people that have invited us. We've gone out and done yard work at their house, and they've sponsored our youth team.
Mm-hmm.
We both rugby clubs, we partner. We do clean a highway.
Oh, yeah.
So when you turn on past Kroger's onto Route 245, we have the first 2 mile stretch.
I thought I saw a sign not too long ago.
Marysville.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that for sure.
We clean that 4 times a year.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, like I said, to back up, life can be viewed as a bank. You can't really make too many withdrawals until you make enough deposits,
100%.
As corny as that is. But that's definitely what you guys are. And the fact that you're helping bring up the younger folks with that mentality, with a community-minded approach to
100%, because
existence.
we want these kids to help out in the community. I mean, and that's the whole thing, like, we try to teach them is, Marysville's given me, I've been here since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
It's given me so much, and a lot of the other players. And, we want to teach these kids, it's good that Marysville and we have a great education system, but let's also give back to our community to make it better.
Yeah, for sure.
So for our middle school team, we are looking for 6th grade to 8th grade players. Our high school team is 9th through 12th grade, and our men's team is 18 years or older. For our middle school and high school team, you don't have to be enrolled at Marysville schools to play for us. We are an open club sport. So come check us out. If you see us in the July 4th parade, I'm the one in the Wampster outfit carrying the club. So make sure you wave.
Get some candy.
Thank you, Marysville, for everything you do for us.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I always enjoy these conversations.
I appreciate it
especially,
so much.
I've always been curious about rugby, so I'm happy that I've learned some stuff, and you called me out to try some rugby. So
I would love you to come
I might
out.
have to follow up and maybe
Just come out to practice.
Come try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a fun thing to try out. So we'll maybe schedule that one out.
I would love it.
And then I can video it so other people can laugh at me. But anyway, so that's all we got for today. Thanks for sticking with us this far. If there's anything I can do for you, or you want to come in and chat about some good stuff you have going on out there, that's what I like to help promote and support. And so if I can be a resource or connect you with any resource out there, I hope I can help you out with that. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, take care.
See you guys.
Awesome.